Be prepared, truly prepared, because what you are stepping into is not just another energetic phase or astrological event. The 8-8 Lions Gate portal is here, and it's unlike any other moment in the year. This isn't just about cosmic alignments or spiritual hype. It's a divine mechanism, a precise and powerful alignment that opens a gateway between the physical and the spiritual realms, but only for those who are ready to meet it with full awareness and sacred intention. This portal doesn't open for the curious. It opens for the committed. This moment, this energy is not casual. It's sacred, and it's scanning for clarity. It's searching for coherence. It's not just looking at your thoughts or your words. It's filtering your vibration. It's detecting the subtle frequency you emit beneath the noise. And right now, this energetic doorway is tuned so finely that any distortion, even the smallest disruption from someone else's presence, their energy, their doubts, their thoughts, can distort your signal enough to close the very path you've been waiting to walk through. This isn't punishment. It's protection. The universe will not pour sacred energy into an unclear vessel. It won't invest its divine resources into a channel that's compromised. That's why today, solitude isn't optional. It's essential. It's not about being antisocial or avoiding people. It's about ensuring your field remains clear enough for your destiny to land. This energy isn't looking for company. It's looking for consistency. It's looking for someone who can stand in their own essence without being pulled, swayed, or diluted by the presence of another. Even those you trust, those you love, if their energy is even slightly off, it can blur the signal. Today, being in the wrong room, the wrong conversation, or even the wrong emotional state can stall what's meant for you. And what's meant for you? It's not just blessings or downloads. For those who are truly tuned in, for those who are called to carry a higher frequency, this portal is an activation point. It's not here to just give. It's here to assign. You're not here to passively receive. You are here to become. This is the day when your energy doesn't just respond to the universe. It informs it. You're shaping what comes next. You're writing the next chapter with every breath you take in presence and every word you dare to speak out loud in the privacy of your own sacred space. And make no mistake, your space is sacred today. The air around you is not empty. It's responsive. It's alive. It's listening. When you speak your intentions today, they don't just disappear into nothingness. They imprint. They vibrate. They echo through dimensions beyond what your physical senses can perceive. Unlike journaling or meditating silently, your spoken word today is a spell, not in a mythical or magical sense, but in a deeply energetic, vibrational one. Every syllable you speak in solitude today becomes a thread in the tapestry of your future. Don't just whisper your desires. Declare them. Speak them into the quiet air of your room, your sanctuary. Let your voice become the instrument that carries your truth across timelines. Because today, the universe isn't just waiting to bless you. It's waiting for your command. But only if that command comes from a place of clear, undisturbed alignment. That's why the crowd, the noise, the chaotic energy of others is not just inconvenient. It's dangerous to your process. It dilutes your frequency. It scatters your focus. It interrupts the handshake between you and the divine. You are not absorbing energy today. You are transmitting it. You are the beacon. You're the lighthouse. And your light must be steady. If you let others into your field, even with good intentions, their waves will crash into yours and distort your signal. Your clarity becomes foggy. Your certainty becomes hesitation. And that's when the portal begins to close, not out of spite, but out of divine design. This portal is calibrated to your unique frequency and yours alone. It doesn't recognize you when you're entangled with someone else's vibe. It only opens when you stand in the full integrity of your own energy. And here's something rarely spoken. Today isn't about being seen by others. It's about being witnessed by your higher self. That version of you, the one that already lives the life you're trying to manifest, is watching you now. Every move you make, every word you speak, every boundary you set or fail to set, it's all being recorded in the energetic blueprint of your becoming. So when people misunderstand you today, when conversations feel off, when the world feels like it's speaking a different language, let that be your confirmation. It's not because you're disconnected. It's because you're deeply connected to something higher. The Lion's Gate isn't about validation. It's about vibration. It narrows the distance between where you are and where you're meant to be. If you're still enough to notice, silent enough to hear, and sovereign enough to trust your own inner guidance over the noise of the world. Today is a reset, a redirection, a rare and radiant opportunity to step through a door that only opens when you're alone, aligned, and ready to claim what's yours without asking anyone else's permission. That confirmation. You're tuned into a different station now. One the world around you can't hear yet. And they're not supposed to. This frequency isn't for the masses. It's not for public consumption. It's sacred, encoded, and exquisitely personal. What you're hearing, sensing, feeling, it's part of a private transmission between your soul and the infinite. You're not missing out by stepping away from others today. You're being invited into alignment, into recalibration, into remembrance. Before we move ahead in the video, I want to let you know that if you've gained even a little value from my efforts, please consider donating through Super Thanks or via PayPal. It really helps motivate and inspire us to keep going. This is not the time to try to make sense to others. Today, you don't need to be understood by the world. You need to be understood by yourself. Not the version of you who compromises or performs for love or approval, but the original self, your essence, the one beneath the stories and roles and coping mechanisms. That self doesn't want applause. It wants truth, stillness, silence, reflection, and above all, it wants to be seen by you. Don't chase being seen in human eyes today. Chase the stillness that lets you see yourself clearly. That's the real portal, not some cosmic event you read about online, but the inner doorway that opens when your ego goes quiet and your soul steps forward to speak. And it only opens when you're still enough to hear it. Stay home. Not just physically, but energetically. Stay in your space. Stay inside your own field. Let the portal's light reach you without interruption. Let it pour through the parts of you that have been waiting in the dark for your attention. Tomorrow, yes, the world will understand again. Tomorrow, you can speak, engage, re-enter the arena. But today, the world is not your audience. Today, the only voice that matters is the one within. Today, the light does not require a stage. It requires surrender. And if you feel a burning, a tension, a restlessness that won't sit still, know that it's not anxiety. It's activation. The fire you feel rising inside you is not here to harm you. It's here to refine you, to melt off the masks, the blocks, the stories you've been using to survive. You're not falling apart. You are coming into form. The Lion's Gate doesn't just shift the cosmos. It lights a solar fire in your chest. You may feel it as heat, a buzzing in your skin, a sudden flood of emotion, or a deep, inexplicable pressure in your body. You might cry without knowing why. You might feel a rage that has no name. That's not dysfunction. That's alchemy. This is not discomfort. It's sacred combustion. Old identities, outdated patterns, limiting beliefs, they're being incinerated. And if you're still and alone long enough to let the flames finish their work, you'll rise from those ashes unrecognizable to your former self. Lighter, sharper, clearer. But if you run from the fire, distract yourself, or reach for others to cool the burn, you interrupt the process. The fire dies before it finishes its purpose. That you're not meant to be social today. You're meant to be sovereign. Because this isn't an event, it's an initiation. It's not something happening to you. It's something happening through you. And it can only complete in the absence of interference. The universe has closed the door behind you for a reason. Not to trap you, but to transform you. Your solitude isn't a mistake. It's an assignment. You didn't choose this silence. You were chosen for it. It may feel like you canceled plans, backed out of commitments, or turned inward on a whim. But none of that was accidental. You've been sealed inside something sacred. A private chamber. A womb of becoming. A field where the normal rules don't apply, because what's unfolding is anything but normal. This isn't a time for action, performance, or display. It's a time for unraveling, for remembering, for shedding the skin of the version of you that was built to survive, so the version of you that's meant to thrive can take its place. The Lion's Gate portal doesn't send you out into the wilderness or onto some mountain. It sends you inward, into the caves of your own soul, into the places you've kept hidden even from yourself. And in that inward space, strange things may begin to happen. The air in your home may feel charged, alive, even sentient. Light may move differently. Time may stretch or collapse. Your thoughts no longer bounce around your mind. They dissolve into the atmosphere like prayers. And the energy responds. It listens. The veil between intention and manifestation thins. What you speak aloud doesn't vanish. It lands. What you whisper becomes a spell. That's why you must be careful. The presence of others, their fears, their vibrations, even their thoughts, can interfere with the signal. Their timelines aren't aligned with yours right now. Their presence, no matter how loving, can distort the clarity that's being offered to you. This doesn't mean you're better than them. It means you're tuned differently, and only for this brief moment in time. Outside, the world continues as usual. But within your space, reality is bending. Energetic systems are being rewritten. Your field is being scrubbed clean of old residue, outdated codes, stagnant frequencies. You're being upgraded, not just spiritually, but energetically, emotionally, and cellularly. The past you thought was over is being unearthed, not to torment you, but to free you. The patterns that no longer belong to your future are being burned from the inside out. And the tiniest disturbance, a 5-minute phone call, a scroll through social media, a brief walk in chaotic energy, can pause the entire sequence. Think of it like surgery. Would you interrupt a heart transplant because someone knocked on the door? Would you rush out halfway through because it felt uncomfortable? No. You would surrender to the process. You'd let the transformation complete, no matter how strange it felt. The same applies here. You may feel odd sensations in your body. You may wake up at strange hours, cry for no reason, laugh unexpectedly. That's energy moving. That's your system flipping switches behind the scenes. You can't explain it to others, and you're not supposed to. This initiation doesn't want witnesses. It wants completion. Right now, your home is not a building. It's a chamber, a holy place where time collapses and old timelines fall away. You may feel lonely, but you're not alone. You're surrounded, seen, held by energies that don't speak in language. They speak in vibration, in synchronicity, in signs only your soul can recognize. You are becoming something you can't name yet. And the world isn't meant to see you in this stage. It's not safe to be visible mid-transformation. Butterflies don't burst from cocoons in the middle of town squares. They transform in silence, in solitude, in darkness. And that's what's happening to you now. Certain energies, ones that lived in your voice, your walls, your breath, are collapsing. Certain parts of you are dying quietly. And new codes, new blueprints, new permissions are waiting for the silence to settle before they drop in. This is a sacred implosion, an ending and a beginning, all in one breath. You may feel uncertain, untethered. You may question what's real and what isn't. But know this, what's fading now was never meant to last. And what's emerging is the truest, clearest, most divine version of you yet. This moment isn't asking for your understanding. It's asking for your trust. Let the process unfold. Stay in the silence. Protect the portal of your presence. Speak only to yourself. Cry if you must. Breathe deeply. Let the fire pass through that you're being shown something now that no one else is meant to see. Not yet. What you're experiencing, what you're feeling, even what you're remembering, isn't random or insignificant. It's the sacred unfolding of your own next chapter, and it can only be witnessed by you. This is not isolation in the way the world defines it. It's sacred containment. You've been wrapped in spiritual quiet, not as a punishment, but as a preservation to hold you between worlds while your system rearranges itself into something new, something more aligned, something ancient that's been waiting in your DNA to wake up. This in-between moment is the spiritual pause between the last breath of your old life and the first heartbeat of your next one. It is holy space. And while the world may appear unchanged when this day ends, when the portal finally closes and the energy stabilizes, you will know otherwise. You'll feel it in the silence between thoughts, in the way the light hits your skin differently, in how your body responds to familiar things with unfamiliar clarity, because something will have shifted inside of you in a way that makes the old reference points disappear. You'll enter the same rooms, have the same conversations, stand in front of the same mirror, but the reflection won't match what you remembered. Not because you've lost yourself, but because you've stepped into the version of you that was always waiting just beneath the surface when you feel the stillness thick in the air, when the light in your room bends strangely, when the walls feel like they're holding their breath. Don't rush to break the spell. Let press in. Let envelop you. Let the door stay shut. Because you're not stuck. You are not being left behind. You are becoming. And the version of you that's coming online right now, it's delicate. It's powerful, but it's also vulnerable. It needs uninterrupted space to root itself into your nervous system before it can survive exposure to the noise of the outside world. You might find today that your shadow begins to speak, and not gently. It may show up in fragments, a memory that drifts into your mind with no context, a flash of regret that stings sharper than it should, a wave of guilt or sadness with no clear source. You might notice yourself remembering things you thought were long buried, or hearing your own inner voice say something that sounds foreign. That's not you breaking. That's the shadow waking up. And it's waking up because the portal is open and the veil between your surface and your soul is paper thin. This silence today, it's not just quiet. It's the absence of distraction. It's the quieting of the ego's protective chatter, the usual static that keeps you too busy to look inward. With that noise gone, your shadow knows it's safe to come forward. And that's the gift of this day, an unfiltered meeting between you and the parts of you that have been exiled. The shadow is not your enemy. It is your archivist. It carries every part of you that's ever been abandoned by others or by yourself. It holds your truth, your pain, your brilliance, your rage, your intuition, your forgotten fire. And on a day like today, with the Lion's Gate beaming pure solar frequency into your field, it says, here, take it back. You left this behind, but it's time now. You'll need it for where you're going. It may not be pleasant. It may not be easy, but it is essential, because this shadow work isn't a side quest. It's the final gate before you step into your true alignment. And the Lion's Gate portal isn't gentle about it. It's a force of pure acceleration. It condenses what could have taken months of inner work into hours, but only if you stay with it, only if you remain in your own field. The moment you let someone else's energy enter your space, even with love, even with good intentions, the process halts. The shadow recoils, the wiring retangles, and the next window might not open again for another year. When the discomfort rises, stay. When the tears come, let them. When your ego tries to convince you to call someone, check your phone, I'm out, go outside, pause. You're in the middle of spiritual surgery. Don't pull yourself off the table just because it burns, and it will burn, because what's happening is not just a shift in perspective. It's an identity breakdown. The Lion's Gate portal is not only flooding the planet with light, it's targeting every false structure you've used to survive. It's locking onto the stories you've inherited, the masks you've worn, the personas you've built to stay safe. And it's dismantling them, not because they were wrong, but because they become too small. Imagine your ego like a tangled web of wires, each one representing a role, an attachment, an outdated belief. One is connected to the version of you who sought approval from family, another to how you perform at work, another to the part of you that always plays it safe, always stays small, always defers. Today, the Lion's Gate is sending a cosmic frequency into your system to fry those wires. Not to destroy you, but to make space. Space for your soul's true signal to come through, unfiltered, unobstructed, unashamed. But here's the danger. If you don't surrender fully to this inner clearing, if you cling to what's familiar, or let yourself be pulled back into old patterns or old energies before the work is done, the system will short circuit. Not fatally, but significantly. The transformation will pause. The momentum will flatten. In the window, this rare and sacred energetic alignment will begin to close. You'll still grow, yes. You'll still move forward, but you'll carry the weight you could have let go of today. You'll keep the pattern that was ready to dissolve. You'll walk forward with part of your light still trapped in the old shell. Don't walk away too soon. Today, the universe is not just offering you insight, it's offering you reintegration. It's pulling back every soul fragment you lost in your survival. It's giving you access to the codes of your own wholeness. But you have to stay present long enough to receive them. Not in noise, not in crowds, not in someone else's company, but in silence, in solitude, in surrender. This isn't an event to observe. It's an initiation to live through. And you're already in it. Let yourself be undone. Let the identity you've outgrown burn off like fog in sunlight. Let the shadow hand you the keys you thought were lost. If you're around other people today, even for a moment, their energetic wiring will tangle with yours. It won't be visible. It won't be loud. But it will be immediate and intimate, a subtle cross-contamination of fields that scrambles the frequency that was meant to hit only you. The signal designed to short-circuit the false self, the one that would have landed cleanly in your solitude, begins to jump and scatter, bouncing between energies, bleeding into vibrations that don't belong to you. What was meant to be a private download becomes static. A once precise soul surgery turns into a foggy blend of mixed signals. And the ego, your ego, doesn't die when that happens. It mutates. It doesn't get dismantled cleanly like it would in silence. It adapts. It shape shifts to include the noise, the fears, the shadows of whoever was in proximity. You don't just keep your old patterns. You inherit theirs. You layer someone else's unhealed baggage over your own. You start carrying cords you didn't ask for, weights you didn't earn, confusion that isn't even yours. That's why this isn't a suggestion for me time or casual alone space. This is protection. This is preservation for the most delicate and important spiritual upgrade you'll be offered all year. In solitude. The signal reaches you without distortion. Pure, direct, undeniable. And yes, it can be intense. It might feel like stillness deeper than you've ever felt, or discomfort so sharp it makes you question who you've really been all this time. You may feel stripped bare, but that's the point. Because what's being revealed isn't weakness, it's truth. Today is not about being liked. It's about being real. It's about finally being able to hear your own frequency again after years of living in everyone else's noise. When the ego resets in silence, something sacred happens. Something rare. Your inner voice, the one you've been drowning out, dismissing, or mistaking for background noise, finally gets louder than the world around you. The part of you that doesn't crave approval, that doesn't care what's trending, that doesn't perform for validation, that voice starts breathing again. You begin to see which thoughts were actually yours and which ones you borrowed just to survive. You'll feel the sharp contrast between who you are and who you've been pretending to be. You'll feel the soft, aching relief of no longer having to wear masks, even the ones you forgot you were wearing. But if you leave the quiet too soon, if you step outside or into another's energy before the recalibration is complete, the old masks will start attaching again before you even realize it. A glance, a tone of voice, a question, a conversation. That's all it takes for the old ego wires to rethread themselves. The false self you were about to shed starts stitching itself back together, using the very energies you were trying to outgrow. That's why the protocol today is clear. Stay in the bubble until the work is done. It's not paranoia. It's precision. If you honor this temporary lockdown, if you stay fully in your own space, physically, mentally, emotionally, you will walk into tomorrow lighter than you've been in years. Cleaner, calibrated, whole. But if you try to blend frequencies before your own has finished restructuring, you'll walk into tomorrow dragging not only your past, but the pieces of everyone else's you touch today. That's not punishment. That's physics. That's how energy works. Today is one of the few times in the year when your ego doesn't just bend. It has the potential to break open completely, to dissolve. But only if the reset lands clean. If you allow interference, that moment passes, and what could have been an inner revolution becomes a missed signal. Yes, you'll still grow. Yes, the universe will continue to work with you. But this particular doorway, this exact configuration of soul plus portal plus stillness, that's once a year. If you get it right, it can shift the timeline of your entire life. And here's where it gets even more crucial. Because on this day, with the Lion's Gate wide open, you're not just highly receptive, you're magnetic. Your aura, your field, your entire energetic system is turned up to maximum broadcast. You're no longer just a being walking through space. You're a living transmission tower. You are radiating a signal out into the world that says, I have what you're looking for. And while that might sound beautiful, it comes with a very real complication. It pulls in everything. That signal doesn't discriminate. It doesn't filter. It doesn't vet who or what answers. It just pulls. So yes, you'll draw in beauty, breakthroughs, blessings, alignments, opportunities, the right people at the right time. The universe is lining those things up for you right now. But you'll also attract the other kind, the draining kind, the ones whose own light has flickered out and who see yours as a lifeline. You'll attract energy vampires, unconscious takers, narcissists dressed as soulmates, charm wrapped in manipulation. You'll draw in the lost, the broken, the curious, and they will reach for your field not because they mean harm, but because they feel your power and want to plug into it. And that's just the humans. Beyond the visible world, there's another layer, one most people don't talk about. When your aura is this open, this luminous, this wide, it's not just physical beings who see you. You become visible to everything that moves through the unseen realms. Energies that drift, entities that seek warmth, attachments that float until they find a home. Not all of them are harmful, but most of them are hungry. And your light today is like fire in the night. They will come closer. They will try to merge, not through malice, but through instinct. And if you're not careful, if you're not shielded in solitude, you won't even know they've entered until your focus is scattered and your clarity is gone. Picture your energy field today like a massive glowing net dropped into the ocean. Yes, it catches treasure. Yes, it brings gold to the surface. But it also pulls up things tangled in the dark. If you're outside, around chaotic energy, in the presence of people who are not conscious of their own vibrations, you're not just having interaction, you're merging fields. You're becoming a carrier for things you didn't invite. And when the day ends, you may walk away wondering why you feel tired, foggy, heavy, or unlike yourself, and never trace it back to the moment you made contact with someone whose energy stuck to yours. This is why being home today isn't about hiding. It's about protecting the sanctity of your signal. It's about giving the blessings that are meant for you a safe path to reach you, undisturbed, while shielding yourself from the ones that aren't. Your home today becomes more than just shelter. It becomes a temple, a container, a chamber where only what is truly aligned can make its way in. The blessings will still arrive, not through the front door, but through thought, through intuition, through the uncanny timing of something long asked for suddenly landing. Synchronicity is your delivery system now, not interaction, not exposure, not performance. Because here's the deeper truth. Your light today is a feast, and not everyone who's hungry deserves a seat at your table. And what you pull in today, it won't just touch your field and leave. On a portal day like August 8th, the bonds that form, whether uplifting or draining, stick. They sink roots. They embed into your energetic ecosystem. The alignment you make now could last weeks, months, sometimes years. Which means one wrong interaction, one unconscious link, one energetic hitchhiker you accidentally allow in, can latch on in a way that requires deep work to untangle later. This is not a day for casual connection. This is not a time to be polite at the cost of your energy. You are more visible, more magnetic, and more vulnerable than you realize. This is not a missed opportunity. This is a sacred one. Stay home. Stay centered. Stay sealed. It is the quietest kind of power. The choice to remain in stillness on a day when the universe is listening louder than usual. It is the radical decision to let the world pass you by, just for a moment, so that when the Lion's Gate portal closes, you don't walk away weighed down by other people's noise, but instead filled with something new, something clearer, something unmistakably yours. You are choosing today to walk forward carrying blessings, not burdens. And that choice alone is revolutionary, because magnetism without boundaries is not a gift. It's a leak. It is an unprotected signal, a flashing light in the night that calls to everything, good or bad, aligned or not. It draws in noise along with clarity, chaos alongside miracles. But magnetism in solitude, that is power in its purest form. That is the kind of radiant pull that only attracts what belongs because it isn't distorted by performance, people-pleasing, or shared frequencies that dilute your own. When you do this right, tomorrow will not feel normal. And that is the proof that something real happened. That's how you'll know the portal worked. You won't need to convince yourself. You won't need signs or synchronicities to tell you. Your body will feel it. Your mind will notice it. Your spirit will know. If you honored the portal today, if you gave it silence, space, trust, then tomorrow will not be just another day. The shift will be subtle for some, dramatic for others, but either way, unmistakable. For some of you, tomorrow will arrive like a fog lifting from the edges of your life. You'll wake up and notice an unusual stillness, as if the emotional static that's been humming beneath everything, the tension, the low-level anxiety, the background hum of self-doubt, has suddenly disappeared. And in its place is quiet. At first, that absence might feel strange, hollow even, because when you've carried a weight long enough, its removal feels like loss before it feels like liberation. The peace you feel may seem unnatural, not because it's foreign, but because you forgot it was your natural state all along. Others may experience the opposite. You may wake with an emotional numbness, a kind of flatness that feels unexplainable. Not sadness, not depression, but a soft quiet in your feelings, like they've gone temporarily quiet so that the new signals can land. That silence isn't a problem. It's a reset. You're not broken. You're rebooting. You're not numb. You're stabilizing. The old currents have gone offline. The new ones haven't fully come online yet. This pause in between is sacred. Let it be what it is. And for some, the next day might feel like something left you overnight, like a part you walked out while you slept. That part might have been a belief, a self-image, an old hope that no longer served you, an outdated identity that you once used as armor but no longer need. You may not be able to name what's missing, but you'll feel the absence like a space that's suddenly wide open, a silence where something used to echo. That is the moment you know. The portal took what was already expired, and you are no longer required to carry it. That emptiness is not a void to be feared. It is a clearing, a space being made for something new, something more aligned to take root. It is the afterglow of release, the room you finally made by surrendering the clutter that blocked your vision. The absence is not the end. It's the beginning of your next, truest chapter. The Lion's Gate doesn't always arrive with fireworks. It doesn't always come bearing mystical visions or cosmic downloads. Often its work is quieter, deeper, more internal than we expect. Sometimes the most profound shifts are the ones that leave no trace except the deep knowing that something within you has changed, permanently, irreversibly, and in your favor. The noise is gone, and what remains is you, the real you, untangled, unmasked, unburdened. If tomorrow feels too still, too quiet, too soft, don't rush to fill it. Let the stillness expand. Let it settle. Let it show you who you are when the external world no longer holds the remote control to your nervous system. This is the new baseline. This is the new foundation. This is what it feels like when the signal is finally clear. And if something did leave you overnight, trust that it was meant to. Not all absences are losses. Some are the beginning of the life you couldn't build while that old energy was still taking up space. The portal is selective, intentional, and precise. It never takes what you still need. It removes what you've already outgrown, even if you didn't know you were ready to release it. This is the kind of transformation that doesn't need to be proven to anyone. You'll feel in the quiet decisions you make differently, in the way you speak to yourself more gently, in how you pause before reacting, in how you no longer seek approval for things you once questioned, and how you no longer grip what once made you feel safe. This is evolution, not loud and chaotic, but deep and unshakable. If you honor the portal today, if you gave yourself the space to receive and release, know this: the work has been done. The shift has begun. And though the world around you may continue spinning as if nothing happened, you'll know. You'll feel it in your bones. You'll carry it in your energy. You'll walk lighter, see clearer, and move with a kind of grounded certainty that can't be explained, only lived. Let the quiet be your proof. Let the change be your confirmation. Let the unfamiliarity of tomorrow be your sign that you didn't miss it. You made it. And if you're still here, still reading, still feeling this space with me, thank you. Your presence matters. Your intention matters. This journey you're on is sacred. If this content resonated, if it helped you move through the portal with more clarity, I invite you to stay connected. Share your experience, your reflections, your truths. You are not alone on this path, even if solitude was your greatest teacher today. Until next time, take care of your light. It's brighter than you know. And when you're ready to step back into the world, do so with the quiet confidence of someone who has met their true self in the silence and chose to listen.